Welcome to the Elder Scrolls Beta Online. I am super excited about this game. Rain and I both got beta keys, and this is the very first beta weekend that we're actually allowed to record and stream our content. As you can see here, I already have a level 5 Templar. This is from one of the previous beta weekends, so I'm really excited he didn't get deleted and wiped, so I can continue on with him and see a little bit more of the later areas of the game. But what we're going to try to do is probably going to try to stream a little bit this weekend at least. What I recommend is go ahead, if you're not already following our Twitter, the link is in the description. Follow our Twitter. We're going to try to tweet whenever we broadcast on Twitch TV. Our link to our Twitch is also in the description if you want to take a look at that. But today, before I get started, I wanted to do something that I always kind of do with MMOs. I always want to see the range of character customization that you can do here. So if we go ahead and say create a new character, as you can see here, there are all the races in the game that you're used to from the Elder Scrolls series. However, the Imperials are not playable. In fact, I don't even remember really seeing that icon up until this weekend. He might have been there last weekend. I didn't get a chance to play a whole bunch last beta weekend. They are not available. When you click on it, it's not clickable. You cannot customize or play an Imperial. But basically what you can do is there's 3 factions if you're not already familiar. There's the Daggerfall Covenant, the Aldemiri Dominion, as well as the Ebonheart Pack. And they've divided all the familiar races of the Elder Scrolls series into these 3 different alliances. So we're going to start with the Daggerfall Covenant just because he's in the far left here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just show you basically the randomized slider. This is kind of a quick look at the customizations you're allowed. This is a really cool feature here. They've got these triangle things for being muscular or large or thin, or you can hit kind of the middle. Same thing with the face as well. If you scroll all the way to the top, the very first one is they got heroic, soft, and angular. So when you hit the randomize, it also changes the place on this triangle here, and you can hit mediums if you want kind of a more heroic soft look or a heroic angular look. It's really kind of cool. It gives you kind of this granularity without having to sit there and pick a bunch of sliders. Of course, if the sliders are your type of things, you can see here we have plenty of sliders to pick from. Torso, chest, gut, even butt dimensions are in this game. Yes, you can make have a big butt if you want. Look at that bubble butt. And same thing with the face. We've got features for as far as age and adornments and forehead and eye color. The age is really kind of cool. I like the fact that in other MMOs you kind of have to play a certain face style if you want to play an older person. Here you can actually just slide it to the age. Just make him older. Make all the changes you want and just make him an older, in this case, Redguard. The hair color, hair sizes, and another cool thing that you might have noticed when I was on this screen before was the voice. Now, my only criticism is that it is kind of hard to hear the voices as well as pick out the differences between them, because when I hit, for example, voice A, he does kind of a laugh. When I hit voice B, he does kind of a grunt. So they're not the same voice emote each time. So you get kind of an idea of the different inflections, but you're not able to compare like all the laughs together or all the grunts together or all the swings together. So it's kind of difficult to see which one you prefer. So really not going to go over that too much in this video because it just would take way too much time. But if that's something you'd like to see, go ahead and leave me a comment and I'll try to do a voice video for you, at least some of the voices as well. So like I said here, basically what we're going to do is we're going to keep them all the same class. We're going to zoom out here. We're going to say no gear, so that way you can see all the body markings and tattoos. And we're just going to hit randomize appearance about 5 or 6 times for each different male and female in each race. The thing is, between all the races and all the females and males, and I've looked at all this up, all the gender, they look pretty much the same. You get a lot of the same options with all the different characters. Same hairstyles, same body markings, same everything. So I think randomize is going to give you a good idea of what your character could look like and the choices and how you kind of mix and match. And that way we're not spending way too much time making this a really boring and granular video for every single different choice. Yeah, at the same time, still giving you kind of what everything looks like. So you can see here, tons of different options for body paint. Go ahead, we'll change it to female. We'll go ahead and randomize the appearance again. And these are all the Redguard options. Kind of give you a good idea how you can make your character look on Redguard. Very cool. Back to male, we're going to do Orc next. So here's an Orc. Like I said, they're very similar features. You can see here there's the Redguard again, wearing the same body paint and hairstyle and everything. So go ahead and hit randomize. This is some of the orcs that you can have. All these sliders are available for all the races as far as I can tell, so there's nothing that's actually not available. The facial hair is actually called facial adornment, and so women have different facial adornment and that's where all you're seeing like the eye patches and the piercings. Those things are under facial adornment. So there's all the orcs. Let's do female now. As you can see there, like the females have roses on some of their facial adornments. A lot of the facial adornments for the female are the headbands. Notice the headbands on a lot of these characters. There's some piercings in the forehead. There's also a nose ring, I think, for the orcs as well, which is, I haven't seen that for a lot of the other races. So we go back to male, and these are Bretons. So this is what your Breton can kind of look like, the different type of Breton choices. And female. All right, moving on, we've got the Aldmiri Dominion. So this is basically going to include the High Elves, the Wood Elves, and the Khajiit. So here we go. Let's start with the High Elves. The High Elves are a little bit taller than the Wood Elves. You can see there is a bit of a height difference here. But here is the High Elf randomized appearance for the males. And you see here that one of the big things is that chest tattoo you just saw go by. It was a gold. That is different for all the factions, because it is their faction logo on the middle of their chest. If you notice back, if you wind the video a bit, some of the other characters had big lines on their chest. That's the Daggerfall Covenant tattoo. So some of your options. Let's go female. And you can see there's plenty of scars and body paint and tattoos to also wear. Very cool. Let's take a look at the Wood Elf male. Oh, wow, look at that. Some horns. So there does seem to be a few unique features for each race, but nothing. There's a lot of the similar stuff between each race as well. Female. And you can see some of the war paint kind of differs a bit. All right, let's go to the Khajiit male. This is kind of a tiger appearance. Now he's a little bit different because obviously he's got fur instead of skin, so his war paint is more fur patterns than war paint. But there's kind of the color gambit as well as you can make your fur. Let's take a look at the females. All right, very cool. And the last is the Ebonheart pack. So let's start at the very top. We got the Argonians, Dark Elves, and Nords in the Ebonheart pack. So here's the Argonians. Males. Here's some of the options. You can see here the hairstyle is more like horns instead of just hair. Let's take a look at some of the female options here. All right, and let's take a look at the Dark Elf males. So you can see here, they give you a little bit of skin variance within the races, so you can look a little bit different. But it's really kind of cool that, you know, hey, that guy's got, you know, he's darker skin, pointy ears. It's a Dark Elf. I know it's a Dark Elf, even though he can have a kind of a light Dark Elf or a dark Dark Elf. A dark Dark Elf. I like that. So there you go, female. Although you really can't tell if you decide to paint them all black with war paint, but, you know, whatever. And last, but certainly not least, are our friends the Nord from the cold, cold northern Skyrim. And let's take a look at some of the females. Okay, one of the other things that I wanted to show you, kind of an extra bonus in this video, since we did a lot of randomization, and I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, was the fact that we have novice gear, veteran gear, and no gear. So you're able to take a look at your character and kind of see what they would look like at the beginning with very basic gear, and what they would look like in veteran gear. And as I'm going to show you here very quickly, is that this changes for each class, but not only does it change for each class, it also changes for each race. So there's a little bit difference between each race and each class. So I'm going to try to go these very quickly in a very, I don't know, I guess, organized manner as best as I can without having to switch to too many different tabs. So we're starting with the Dragon Knight. This is the novice gear for the Breton, for the Orc, for the Red Guard. Then we'll go ahead and do Veterans gear. That's for the Red Guard, the Orc, and the Breton. Change this back to novice. Let's go ahead and do the High Elf, Wood Elf, Khajiit, veteran gear for the Khajiit, Wood Elf, and High Elf. Change back to Novice. And there's the Argonian, Dark Elf, and Nord. Veteran Nord, I like that. Very Skyrim looking. Dark Elf, and Argonian. So you can see this is really given each class kind of its own little flavor. So let's go back to the very beginning, Breton and Novice, just to stay organized here. And let's take a look at the Sorcerer. This is going to be a Sorcerer Novice gear. And Sorcerer Veteran gear. Novice gear. And Veteran gear. And last faction, there's Novice. You can see that the Novice, some of the races, they look very kind of tribal-ish. But I must say, I'm really impressed with a lot of the gear choices here. They look very, very awesome. Okay, so back just for consistency's sake, we're going to go back to Breton Male, Novice. Take a look at the Nightblade. Here's the Nightblade Novice. And Veteran. I like it. Nightblades are kind of roguish, which is kind of cool. Like a thief. So again, Novice. There's Veteran. Oh, I like that. Like a full mask. Very cool. So then we'll go ahead and say Novice. Breton, for the last class here, is the Templar. There's Novice. Veteran. I'm a big fan of the Templar. He's kind of the closest I can get to being a paladin in this game, which is my World of Warcraft character. So I have a soft spot for the Templar. Like that. I like the skull. It's really kind of cool that each race can be the same class. I've noticed other games have done that as well, which kind of make it a little bit less important on what race you are, so that you're able to just kind of enjoy the game and play the race you want. Even World of Warcraft to an extent has really changed and opened up their restrictions where they have been, previously in past in vanilla, but they're still out there, where you basically have to be a certain race to be a certain class. But basically, that's it. That's really all I can show you about the character customization menu. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Like I said, we're going to try to get some more Elder Scrolls Online footage up this week. Please go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. Let us know what you liked. Let us know what you'd like to see. If you can get the comments in this weekend, we can certainly kind of tailor our footage to what you want to see as the viewer. So like I said, I'll see you this weekend with more footage.